This video is brought to you by Big Bad Toy Store. Make your purchases through my personal link in the description to help out the channel. Oh, look at the size of the lad. So let's do a little review of this new McFarlane Toys Clayface figure. So, I've always actually wanted a Clayface because I never had one. Normally I would go with like the Arkham Burst ones, but I actually hate the Arkham Clayface. I think it just he looks too solid and too defined, and he doesn't have this nice goopy, like, I think the Arkham Clayface has like abs and stuff, and there's also that ice effect he's got going on, and the head doesn't look anything like Clayface. It just looks like a sort of skull made out of sand. And there's the Mattel DC Superheroes figure, which I really like. I think it looks amazing, but the rubber arms sort of kill it for me, because I'm terrified they're gonna like rot away with time. And also, it's actually a little bit too small now, because I'm kind of upgrading everything to like DC Direct / McFarlane scale, and McFarlane scale is a lot bigger than the old Mattel, so like that would mean my Batman figure would be taller than Clayface, and I can't really have that. So yeah, this is the one I settled on. There's also the Mattel Build-A-Figure Clayface, which actually looks pretty good. I think he looks a bit too sandy rather than clay, because he doesn't really have this nice uneven like goop as this one. And but I think the face sculpt is like spot on to what it's supposed to be, which is when Clayface actually gets a little bit of a redemption arc, which is really nice. It's really fun comic. But yeah, in the end I decided to go for the McFarlane one, because it was just the most easily accessible one, because that other bath is like over $100, and the DC Superheroes, like I said, it's too small, and even so it's like 60 bucks. So why not just get this one for like 50? So yeah, let's take a closer look at him. Right off the bat, you can see you can see that this is a completely different color from this, and I don't really know how I feel about that. I would honestly prefer if everything was just like this a little bit brighter brown color. And there's also some issues with the sculpting, in that you see like this texture here. Suddenly that's just gone, and this looks really cheap. Like, it's completely smooth, and then like look at this paintwork. It's just really sloppy and really cheap looking. Like, did something like, look at it's just borderline amateurish. And I have a few other gripes as well, but like the lack of consistent texture is probably my biggest. Like, everything from here to the feet looks pretty good. There are some minor paint imperfections here, but I just don't really know. And then there's the feel of the figure as well. Like, he's a big hefty figure, like he can stand up no issue, because I actually do love these feet. There's no way he's gonna fall over anytime soon. But the build of him, you see, like, yeah, you see here, like his arms. I don't really know why this isn't like tighter sealed. I can't like put them in either. Yeah, and I guess you can sort of hear it as well. It sort of feels like especially like the top bit here, it sort of feels like a hard plastic shell rather than a solid figure, and I don't really know, it just feels a bit cheap, to be honest. There's also a pretty ugly seam line here, strengthening the whole like candy shell argument. The back sculpt is pretty good, I would say. Again, really sloppy paintwork, like especially like here, just look at that. I do kind of like the skulls that are sculpted in here. Like, there's another face like down here. I take it sort of as it's Basil's, like the other faces Basil has like transformed into over the years. Yeah, it's just really disappointing, to be honest, how this figure turned out. Like, he looks pretty decent, but it's just the way he feels, it just feels so cheap. And then there's the head sculpt. The head sculpts, I don't really know. Like, this is supposed to be the DC Rebirth Clayface, but if you go by his biggest appearance in DC Rebirth, he's actually supposed to look like the Mattel one, because the Mattel one is like spot on. It has like a nose, and he kind of looks like some weird nightmare creature, and I know that's kind of fitting, but it doesn't really scream Clayface to me. I think the teeth are like too close to like where his eyes are. I wish there was a bit more room here, like more sculpt, and then the teeth could be a little bit lower. And then for some reason he doesn't have teeth like out here. He's got teeth here, which is accurate to the comic, because he's got like 4 rows of teeth, I think, in the comic. But it just looks really weird, and I would prefer to have the teeth on the outside. I don't really care too much about the inner teeth, if I can be perfectly honest. I do like this here, though. I'm a sucker for like an articulated mouth. I think it's a pretty neat effect. But then, why would you even... This is bad. This... Yeah. It's just a very... Is he gonna break? No, it's just a pretty badly thought out figure, if I can be perfectly honest with you. There's also, I don't really like how he looks from the side. Like, he just looks sort of like a grouchy old man with like missing teeth, and I don't know, guys. I am probably gonna, what's this? There's like a big gap here too. I am honestly probably gonna try to resculpt this guy from like the ground up pretty much, because I don't really feel like I could mess things up too much, because I'm gonna be sculpting with clay and it's Clayface, so yeah. But I'll probably make him look a bit more like the animated series version, so yeah, you have that to look forward to at least, I guess. Another issue I have is with the articulation. So this joint up here is so redundant. Like the one up here. The lower one is a little bit better, but then you also have this like soft rubber, and it's... God, this figure. It just makes me really sad. And then look at the elbows here. Like that's the amount of range it's got, and it's really, really stiff. I think maybe if you cut off like this part, maybe it could articulate more. I don't really know what's stopping it. I think it's that bit, but I'm not really sure. But it's just pitiful. Like, I really like Clayface, and I really would like a good Clayface figure, but honestly, as much as you think like he will do for a collection, I honestly don't really think he's worth it. Like, he looks alright, but everything else about him is just so poorly thought out. Like, look at this joint here, it's just really rough looking. At least he won't fall over, I guess, but... I don't know, guys. I'm very, very disappointed. I'd give him like a 6 out of 10.